Again and again and again. No matter what, I'm always in the same place. No matter what step I take, I'm always back in the same place. And that's what it looks like externally. Everything's still the same. I'm still following a path which I don't desire so much. And it's the same repeat. I try again and again to move forward, to step into another path. And once I go into that direction, I realize that's not what something I want, so I step back. We step back into our original path, which was forged, that we made. And again, you're left wondering, why am I stuck in the same place? There are some paths you take full throttle because you believe it's a part of what you want, but when you get it, it just feels like same old, because maybe that's not what you really wanted. You feel stuck again and again, and you ask which other way you can take, and you take it. And yet, for some reason, it's still the same. It's the same thing. No matter what you take, it feels like the same. Why isn't anything changing? They say change comes with patience, and that sometimes change is because of inaction. Well, what happens if you have acted? You are doing things, and yet it still feels the same, that you're stuck. And there are times, periods of times, when you're much happier and that you feel like you changed. And then you go back into periods of time, moments, where you feel like nothing has changed at all. Is this a pattern we're supposed to break? We're already trying to break the fact of feeling stuck. And there are moments that you don't feel stuck at all. And yet, why do you return back to the same place of feeling stuck, needing to do something? Change. You've done it. You've done it before. The energy you've put into it. Or I've done the same thing. I've put energy in so many things, wanting to change cycles. And I have. And yet, overall, did anything ever change? My way of thinking maybe has changed, my actions, but yet why externally it feels all the same? And then because of that, you just revert back to your old self. I'm not just talking about weeks of action. I'm talking about months and years, and yet, I'm still reverted back into my old self. Maybe it's burnout, pushing myself to this far extent. But I thought that once you push something so hard, with effort and hard work, you can break the cycle. Or is it something different? just like for some people how easily it is to break a new cycle and go into something new. It's because of the belief that rewards come with hard work. Why is it this way? I don't understand. And each day we wake up, we try to push hard as we can, but when there's nothing out of it, you see no purpose in even trying. So you scroll away. And it's not like you have a desire to scroll either. It's more of, what can you do instead? Yes, you can go to the gym. Yes, you can do certain hobbies. But then what happens when you say you've done that for such a long period of time that you're at a brink of just giving up? That you just stop everything and you're at a standstill? You're like at the top of a hill. You've reached the point where you're climbing up to that small hill, looking above, and yet you just want to lay on the floor and not want to stand anymore because your legs are tired. And you may feel a gust of wind blowing you, and that causes you to fall down back into the same pit of the hole. Because when more challenges throw your way, you've had enough of it, because you went through blizzards, you went through storms, you went through multiple hills, and you're at a higher hill, but then you fall back down. And in a sense you have moved, because when you fall down, you won't fall down as hard if you were to do the same thing a few years ago. You would have fallen down in a deeper hole. But this time you fall down, but then you're at a lower point, a much lower point, but not in comparison to if you were to fall down when you were younger. But because of that, you feel stuck again. The same hole, the same torment. So then you feel stuck again. And the only way when you're stuck, when you're at the bottom, is up. So you continue to climb that hill. You keep going. You keep going up and up. You don't look back, you don't look around, because you know comparison is the worst enemy you will ever have, and your mind is only a limiter. So you keep going. But then you start to wonder if the path of going up is really the one you want. Because what happens if you walk to the side and you realize there's a house, a mountain house, a hill house that you want to go to, instead of up that hill? A small journey along that uphill of your life. And you don't know, because you're pushing yourself to go up to that hill, not knowing what it is up there, even if that's what you want. So sometimes you do go, instead of going upwards, you go to the side, you walk sideways uphill, if that makes sense. It's not the most efficient, but you come there to rest, to see. But that's in case scenarios, in that there is no time applied to it. There is no pressure, but you know, because there's such a pressure going uphill, you avoid it. You don't care about what you want anymore. You just go up. You keep walking uphill. And you don't even know if you want to look at other things. If you want to see small parts of the hill, like a flower, farm stock along this hill. And then to you, you see it as distractions. You just want to go uphill. You don't want to see anything else. Right? Or do you? Do you want to see those glimpses of what people really enjoy about life? The journey being in zigzag instead of a straight path. Because what happens if that zigzag actually led you to a much better hill? And yet with all those questions, you couldn't care less about anything. You just want to climb that hill up. You just want to go up. You see that it's a sacrifice. Not wanting to get distracted. You just want to go up. Up that hill. And of course there's going to be gusts of wind that catch you sometime, but you push through. But then what happens when you reach to that top? And instead, you just see the sun. And the sun's something you always see every day. Because you knew once you reached that mountaintop, what were you expecting? Is this what you really want? And if you come to a point where you say no, you fall back down again. Because once a gust of wind hits you, you're too unbothered to stick your foot onto the ground and just fall along the grass down to a bit of hole, and you feel stuck again. And because of that, you wonder why. But you know you still have to go up that hill again. Same thing, right? You have to go up that same hill. So you go again. But while you're going up that hill, you're wondering if this is even what you ever wanted. Every step you take higher and higher up that hill, you're questioning your motives. Why? And you feel a sense of you're stuck. Because you're repeating the same path again and again up that hill. So what about if you go zigzag? What if you want to go left instead of up? And so you do. You see little sheeps, you pet it, and then you go back up to your original path. And then you go to the right, looking at flowers, a field of flowers. And then you go back straight up again. And it was a nice rest along those journeys. And then you start looking at the top of the hill, and in a sense, you dread it. Going back up there. because then it starts with a new journey, something new. Something that, do you even really want it? You may have enjoyed the sheeps, the flowers, but you know once you reach the top, it was never really anything you ever wanted. And it's the fact, knowing that it was never something you really wanted. Why are you taking this path? And you question whether you can even take another path. And it's so uncomfortable to walk to another path. The same way when you went to the zigzag, left to the sheeps, right to the flowers. You didn't want to do it initially. So why would you want to make a big jump into something new? And it's even harder because let's say you want to jump into a new path. But it's not something you really want to do either way. You don't want to do anything. You're following a path, but that's not something you ever really wanted. To go up a hill every single time, is that something you ever really wanted? Do you even want to walk? What do you want? And that's the hardest answer. Because I feel like you will only know that when you have something to live for. And it's much harder when you have nothing to live for. In the sense that we know life is meaningless. There's no point in it. And yet, we should understand that we're a part of an illusion that we can play a part of. But knowing where to go is the hardest part. And if you walk into another step, something you knew, and you go towards it, and you feel like it's not the right one, you fall back down again, and you feel stuck. And it's hard. It's really hard. So you become stuck again and again. But when does it stop? When do you stop feeling stuck? And it's said that you don't feel stuck when you change. When things change. When you change. And I always question, how can that be? Because for some other people, it can happen immediately. And people will say it's because of your mind, how you programmed it, how you think. And yet for each person it's different. But only time will tell, and the persistence of what we do that really highlight when things will change. And if we stay stuck forever,